What's going on, y'all? Polo Sports Talk and Entertainment. I'm gonna jump right into this. Now, my first question is, what the hell does this have to do with sports? What the hell does this have to do with sports? It has absolutely nothing to do with sports. Doesn't have anything to do with it. They're doing this for ratings. They're doing this for views. And Undisputed and First Take, they should be ashamed of themselves. Now, I can understand the Breakfast Club, and I can understand uh, different shows that have to do with entertainment. But what does this really have to do with sports? What's up with it, True Viking Queen? I see you in the building. Really, what does it have to do? You know what I'm saying, Mr. Thompson? What's up with you? What does it have to do with sports? It has absolutely nothing to do with sports. Now, Shannon Sharpe, okay, you're sitting up here and you're saying he should have conducted himself better. What's up with it, Von Allah? See you in the building. You're talking about this man should have conducted himself better. Well, is that because your cover has been blown in terms of you not wanting to be with our black queens? I put it to you. I put it to you better like this, right? If the shoe is on the other foot, Shannon Sharpe, and let's say somebody disrespected, not even your girl, okay, not even your girl, not even your wife. Let's say somebody disrespected your family member, and they were sitting right there, and they had a condition, a medical condition that they cannot help, or they have a disability that they cannot help. Yeah, you saying that now because you're not in that position. The shoe isn't on the other foot. But nah, bro, I can't let you get away with that because you know damn well you would have acted the same way. Now, you want to sit up here and try to put up the man. Matter of fact, look, some of y'all gonna be shocked with what I have to say. Skip was riding more for Will Smith than what your ass was. And I know everybody got their opinion. Look, I don't have a problem with people saying that, what Will Smith, he should have conducted himself better, or what he did was wrong, all this other stuff. Look, I get all of that, but you can't tell a man how to feel, especially when it pertains to his wife. Listen, the majority of the women, some of them feminists, some of them blacks, some of them white or whatever, they've all came to the defense of Will. Exactly. He would catch a case. You sitting up in here and you talking about, oh yeah, well, man, you can't do that at the Oscars. Talk about elegance. The fuck, man? Them people ain't no better than what we are. Only thing they is they might have a little bit more money. They might be dressed up a little bit more. They might have their best perfume, better jewelry, better cars, and they might be in a different tax bracket. But they still a human being at the end of the day. And then you want to talk about, you know, him whooping August Alsina's ass and all this other stuff. Look, that don't have nothing to do with it. They already put that out on the table. Everybody knows that, and I've already said this. I When I addressed that issue concerning Will Smith and his wife and all that other stuff, the red table talk and all this other stuff, I'll be the first one to admit. I said, man, this family is a mess. And I also said that Will need to do better with controlling his household and everything. Matter of fact, there was some people saying that he should have divorced her, but guess what? He stayed with her. And you're talking about, him emasculating or her emasculating Will and all this other stuff. Man, the entanglement part don't have nothing to do with it. Okay? What we're talking about is a condition that she has that maybe they haven't disclosed to the public, but you sitting up in here and you saying, okay, yeah, he should have conducted himself better. Please save the bullshit, because you know good and goddamn well if somebody had something to say about somebody that was near and dear to you, and let's just take a woman for instance, if it was your auntie, if it was your cousin, if you were married, right? And everybody's laughing, and you see that your wife is hurting, you see that your cousin is hurting, you see that your aunt is hurting, you see what your mom is hurting, or something like that. Oh, you're gonna go to bat. And on top of that, man, you from the South too. You from Georgia, man. Please, man, you grew up fighting. Don't try to sit up here, uh, 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 Shannon Sharpe, and act like you haven't seen any of this case. You played in the fucking NFL, uh, one of the most notorious leagues for covering shit up, for shit happening behind the scenes, for stuff happening, blaming stuff for people, snakes, fakes, liars, savages, all that stuff. A slap don't mean shit. You see that shit all the time in the locker room. But this right here, man, this is a man that's defending his honor. They just happen. What's up with it, Big Who? Listen, just big True Viking. I see you in the building. Now, check it. They want to sit up here and they want to act like, oh yeah, just because you're doing media and stuff like that. Hey, Shannon Sharpe, let's not forget now. They talked about you, right? Listen. There were a lot of black folks that was coming in your defense when they had something to say. Oh yeah, well he's not the traditional media type and all this other stuff. And I know y'all like, well, what does that have to do with anything? Well, guess what? Black folks was coming to the defense with you because maybe the way that you talk, maybe because you didn't have the type of lingo that everybody, the average cast member or a commentator has. But guess what? You still work through your issues. So when somebody has something wrong with them or something like that, hey, some people's sensitivity are different, and plus they've been through a lot. And look, you want to sit up here and you would have said, okay, yeah, I would have handled this differently. I would have. The only reason you saying that is because you you weren't the one that it happened to. It's easy for us to sit up here and say, okay, yeah, well, I would have did this, I would have did that, until you're actually in that situation. And that's what pisses me off. Listen, do I hate that it happened? Absolutely, I hated that it happened because, okay, Shannon, you sitting up in here, you saying that's us, that's us, that's us, man, that's them. You just not seeing it, and they not talking about it. Shit like this goes on all the time, and I already told y'all an example of that happened earlier this morning. If you listen, you know, I mean, look, at the end of the day, it happened. If Will Smith happens to lose, a lot of stuff, you're talking about, oh man, this is bad, this is real bad. I've never seen nothing like this happen before. Man, please. There's been, to be honest with you, just because it was at the Oscars, they're gonna blame. Just because it was at the Oscars, and it was two African American men in a different tax bracket, and also the shocking factor, you know, people didn't expect a guy like a Will Smith being who he is, an icon, a guy that was about to win his first Grammy and everything. They didn't expect him to do something like that at a prestigious at a prestigious event. Do you know how many women have came to the Oscars or different awards and stuff like that, and have worn uh some provocative clothing and stuff? But I don't hear them talking to them about that. Do you know how many jokes have been said to where it's been way, way, way out of bounds? And people have laughed it off and stuff like that. Really, it could have been fighting words. Do you know how many times that has happened? Look, ain't nothing beta about him. Ain't nothing simp about protecting your wife. Shannon, you're not married. You haven't been married. You haven't been through the ups and downs and stuff like that. You talking about August Alzina and stuff like that. Okay, hey, you can talk about all that another time. All that stuff goes out of the window when it comes to for better or for worse, sickness and health, which is something that pretty much what we're talking about here. Not to say that you know if she's sick or not, or anything like that. We don't know what's going on behind closed door, but she still has a medical condition. You understand what I'm saying? And True Viking is speaking on facts right now when she says about the masculinity being taken away. We listen. He's a masculine male, and as a matter of fact, Charlemagne brought up a point about his book, and he basically was saying, you're saying a quote from his book, that he uh he felt bad that he wasn't able to do something in terms of his mom being abused for so many years, being in a domestic, growing up in a domestic environment and everything. And it was like it haunted him because he didn't come to defense of his mom. So quite naturally, he's going to come to the defense of his wife. What's up with it, Ticket TV? I see you in the building. Y'all go subscribe to the homie Ticket TV or Pro Basketball Updates. I see you in here, man. Salute to you, bro. A lot of y'all that's screaming up here talking about, okay, yeah, well, I would have did this, I would have did that. If it was your mom, if it was your grandmother, if it was your sister, if it was your aunt, if it was your cousin, that's a female. Hell, if it was your girl that you committed to, let somebody say something about her and she feeling bad or something like that. Listen, man, as an alpha male, you were supposed to step up, especially as a black man. That's what we was taught to do. Listen, when you go to the park and you got brothers, I mean, you got sisters. Well, shit, hell, brothers too. If y'all might fight at home, sort of the situation that's going on between Jada and Will, and him being called a simp and all this other stuff, him being emasculated, him being publicly humiliated and all this other stuff, right? And they going through what they going through. They children going through this and going through that. They saying that he ain't got control of his household and all this other stuff, right? But check this out, right? At the end of the day, they still got to be together, for better or for worse. It's the same thing if y'all in the household and you and your brother, y'all fight on the regular or something like that. But if somebody throw a rock at them, somebody talking about them, somebody saying disrespectful to them, joking or not, and they didn't take too kindly of it, guess what? By natural, you're gonna protect them. That's just instincts. For instance, if me and Ticket, right, my brother, if me and Ticket, if that, that's my brother or something, and we're teammates. We fight all the time. We get into it. In the locker room, we going at it. What's up with it, Kev Cook? I see you in the building and everything. Hell, we might even scrap or something like that. But let somebody come up to me and try to put me in a headlock or something like that. Oh, he gonna be front line. Or let somebody, disrespect my mom or something like that. He was like, nah, you're not gonna disrespect Polo's mom. And I would do the same for him. Oh, you're not gonna disrespect him. You know why? Because he's my teammate, he's family. But some of y'all don't have that type of mentality no more. You don't have it. You don't have it. And that's what's wrong with our society. Everybody's like, oh, well, he should have took better care of his household. Listen, are you sleeping with them? Look, he made that goddamn decision. I know that he did. You know what I'm saying? I was critical of him too. Hold on one sec. He listen. As far as him crying and all this other stuff, you know what I'm saying? Look, you could sit up here and criticize him all you want to, but if something affects you near and dear. But we could sit up here and we could try to justify what he did was wrong and what he did was right and all this other stuff. But the thing about it is that when you come to the defense of your family member, because you listen, when you marry someone, they're pretty much in your family. You know what I'm saying? So when you come to a defense of your family member, wrong or right or whatever, y'all would just take care of the rest. When y'all come by it, what you'll address whether it's right or wrong when everything settles, when all the dust settles. But right then, at that moment, we can't sit up here. A guy like Shannon Sharpe can't sit up here and try to justify whether or not Will Smith was wrong or right and what he should have did and what he shouldn't have did because he wasn't in his shoes. And matter of fact, man, if you was so strong enough, Shannon Sharpe, what you would have did is you would have been like, you know what? I'm not saying this about my brother and all this other stuff, but oh, you sure do come to the defense of LeBron James. I didn't see you. I didn't see you. Coming to the defense and being front line when they were trying to threaten Russell Westbrook, but you still want to stay on trying to make our black brothers still look bad, regardless. Like a Russell Westbrook, some of the stuff, yes, he brought on himself, but at the same token, you're not making it no better. To be honest with you, you part of the problem. You part of the problem. And you're talking about, oh yeah, that's us, that's us, that's us. Go look at them. Go look at the stuff that some white folks do. Go look at it. Go do your research. But they so much better than us. They so much perfect than us. No, I haven't forgot about him, but right now we're talking about Shannon Sharpe. I already listen. We already know the deal about Stephen. I'm what Stephen A. Smith did was not surprising. I haven't forgot about none of them. It's a lot of people that Ricky Smiley sitting up in there trying to Charlemagne to a certain degree. You know what I'm saying? He said, "Oh yeah, I just didn't want to see it. This shouldn't have happened and all this other stuff." Man, you don't know. And listen, I'll tell you this. Now, let's say Chris Rock would have hit him back. Then guess what? It would have been bad anyways. Listen, it'd have been like, oh, here we go, got two niggas fighting again, and it would have made the situation that that much better. So what I'm saying to you is that they wanted to see some shit like this go down regardless. A lot of people in the beginning, they felt like this was staged. Listen, I'm not gonna lie to you. I knew this shit wasn't staged when I first seen it. I mean, you could just see it, and if you grew up in an environment like that, man, he wasn't messing around. They talk about, he should conduct himself some type of way and all this other stuff. Man, had you been through what he been through in the last couple of years? No. And Stephen A. Smith, now that we own him, he always talking about referencing African American males like he knows how to conduct himself. I mean, what he says is laughable because 9 times out of 10 he sits up there trying to destroy our black men with the agenda that he's trying to push over there on First Take. When he should have been front line, since you want to claim that you're not this token Negro that you is. And everybody, you talking about, oh yeah, it's a joke, it's a joke, it's a joke. Yeah, it's different when the joke is on your ass. And Ricky Smiley talking about, oh yeah, I would have waited, I would have did this, I would have did that. Let somebody talk about one of the women in your family. I don't want to hear that shit. Exactly, exactly. That's what I was saying. That's what I was saying, True Viking. That's facts. Skip, Skip. Listen, as much as people talk about Skip and all this other stuff, look, in this case, Skip had more black in him than Shannon. But they don't want to talk about that shit. Shannon, you out of line, man, and you know your opinion in this right here. It, I mean, I'm pretty sure people validate it, but at the same token, it's not really understandable because you sitting up in here, then you're gonna turn around and you're gonna flip the script and you're gonna say, "Oh, we would have been he would have been limping back and all this other stuff." Okay, so what you think would happen if somebody said something about one of the women in your family? What you think? You're talking about slapping is is the most disrespectful thing that you could do. Is spitting is the most disrespectful thing that you could do. All this other jazz, right? Well, another thing that is really disrespectful that you could do is talk about somebody's loved ones, such as a mom, such as a grandmother, such as a kids, such as a wife, cousin, auntie, all that stuff. Especially somebody that's sick. You doing all this shit right here, and you sitting up in here. I expected you to come on here and be like, yeah, I would have got him. Everybody's not sitting up in here saying that Will was right, but listen, he laid it all out on the line. He took a risk. He took a risk that a lot of guys will not take. I can guarantee you that. They be like, "Oh no, I'm not going up there." And even if they wife had did what they do, even if they wife had did them wrong and all this other stuff or whatever, they're like, man, I'm not defending that. But that's this generation and that's the society that we live in right now. I listen. I tell you like this. I can feel where Will is coming from because I'm a married man. I know what it is, and if somebody would, if a guy like Chris Rock, whether we friends or whether we not friends, whether we in the same spaces or we don't be in the same spaces, man, what you said was out of bounds. You know, you should know better. Chris Rock, you know, he knows better. And taking a personal jab, you know, everybody's talking about, oh yeah, well, what's the big deal? It was GI Jane stuff like that. The fact that you know that she dealing, everybody knows that she's dealing with the serious condition. If you would have said that, or if you would have said something in reference to, you know, what their situation is going on with August and all this other stuff, all of that right there, man, it really just needs to be out of bounds. However, some comedians don't really see it that way. And Chris Rock ain't no better than nobody. You know, you now that you're in the place, you know, there was a time when nobody really was thought you was gonna make it. Oh, but now you're in a different class of people. You're better than everybody, and you think it's cool to just disrespect anybody. Can't do that, man. I know some people ain't gonna agree with me. I really don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. You know, you're supposed to defend. Listen, I know the men in my family, and the men that I associate with, they are supposed to be front line for all the women in their family or whatever. Fuck all that manosphere and woman and woman spear and all that other bullshit. You know what I'm saying? I don't get into that motherfucker. Look, man, just simplify that motherfucker. That's the problem. Y'all make that shit too technical. There's no wiggle room or no tech. Well, you know, we have to look at it like this. Nah, fuck that shit. You know, if True Viking is around me and she's a friend of mine, and you disrespect her, knowing that okay, she's got this going on or something like that. Well, guess what? I'm gonna check you on that shit, even if she's not my wife. If Tiffany's around me, yeah, I'm just talking about some of the queens that in the LDBC. If Tiffany's around me and somebody says something disrespectful to her, guess what? I'm gonna be front line for her. And as I told the brother LVZ NBA talk, I said you disrespect. I'm not talking. I'm telling. I'm saying what I said on this platform or whatever. Shout out to LVZ NBA talk. But I told him, you know, because he was doing a stream on us not, you know, coming to the defense for our queens. I told him, man, shoot, you could call me a simp all day. Men in my family will simply beat your ass when it comes to the defense of our brothers and our sisters. Hold on, y'all. You know, but you know, we live in a very weak society and everything, and it's a lot of train hoppers, and unfortunately, I just been blessed to stand on my own 2 feet. Everybody gotta have a crew. Everybody gotta have they gotta have, you know, 10 niggas feeling the way that they feel. They gotta have a whole bunch of people feeling the way that they feel and all this other stuff. Some people, you know, they can't stand against the grain. And what I'm telling you, that when it comes to the especially a black male. And if you got a son, you should raise him to. For anybody that got kids, you should raise your daughter that man that she's with is supposed to be front line and supposed to protect her. And you should raise your son to be a warrior. He's supposed to be a warrior. He's supposed to be front line and be that alpha, be that lion, be that king. And what do? They hunters. You know what I'm saying? They gonna go head hunting for that motherfucker that says something disrespectful about the women in their family. You said if that was me, I would handle it differently. Okay, how would you have handled it, Stephen? How would you have handled it? Because you can't you can't sit up there and say that you would have felt that way. So if somebody was to disrespect your mom right there, right next to you, and knowing that she got some sort of condition, or if they would disrespect your girl right there, or something like that, you're not gonna come to the defense or say something, even if he would have just said, "Keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth" or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And some people tripping about that. That's still enough. But he felt the way that he felt. You could say that all day. You could say, "Oh, I would have did this. I would have did that." You don't know. You don't know until you in that situation, bro. It's like it's like when when people get into a fight or something like that, or they get into an altercation, or some bad shit happens, God forbid, for anybody or something like that. They'll be like, "Oh well, I would have did this, I would have did that." You don't know until you face with that situation. You don't know until you face with that situation. So let's just be clear. Let's just be clear about that. Don't sit up there and say, "Oh yeah, I would have did this. I would have that coulda, woulda, shoulda bullshit." Yeah, puppy. Yeah, I mean, well, that's what they do. They a lot. Unfortunately, a lot of these guys they'll sell their they'll sell their souls just for money or for generational wealth purposes. But see, in the end, man, that doesn't pan out well because there's a price that you have to pay for that shit. Let's not forget, man, these guys are still human beings at the end of the day. It's I don't really look at these guys as gods or uh, you know, superhumans or anything like that. No, they're human beings just like I am. They, they got a heart like I do, they got lungs, all that stuff. Well, that's the way you would have handled it. But I mean, that's what you're saying you would have did, Stephen. But I mean, it's easy for you to say that because you weren't placed in that situation. We can all sit up there and say, "I would have did this, I would have did that." You don't know how you would have felt, man. You really don't. Nobody do. I'm just saying from my standpoint. I know the way that we were raised. Will's reaction has happened a lot, especially in black culture, and then also it's been stuff that has actually transpired that has went a little further. Unfortunately, we don't like people to lose their life, but some guys is willing to take it there. They willing to take a L or come to the demise for the defense of their queen or of the princesses in their family or of the women in their family. You know, it's easy for you to say that, but let somebody talk. Stephen, let somebody talk about your mom or your auntie or your cousin or your sister if you have one, or any other women in your family, your grandmother. You are gonna go off. You're gonna have something to say about it, especially if it's a condition and it's a lot of people around there. Yeah, I'm not entertaining that bullshit. But I know some people pissed off about what I said. I really don't care. I see a lot of people left, but oh well. If you mad, hey. If you mad, hey, that's on you. But like the video, share it, subscribe. Appreciate everybody pulling up. Polo Sports Talking Entertainment, man. I'll get at you later.